Sheep! Sheep! I take care of the sheep, the cattle, and the poultry at Colonial Williamsburg. My title is Manager of Rare Breeds, and our sheep, our cattle, and our poultry are all rare breeds of livestock. So part of what I do is kind of general farming work to feed them and give them the veterinary care that they need, and lamb and calf. But then a big part of what I do is also to interpret to our visiting public and help them understand how livestock's different in the 18th century. And because the animals are a little different, and because I want our visitors to think, we have breeds of livestock that are rare today, but are breeds that very easily could have been here in the 18th century. So it became the capital in 1699, partly because Jamestown, being close to the water, caused a lot of issues with mosquito-borne diseases, and the water wasn't very good, and so they moved here to Williamsburg. And it was the capital until 1780, when during the Revolution it was realized that the British could bomb the capital city from either of the rivers, the James or the York. Hey girls, no, don't come out. You can't be coming out. Look at that. So the Nankin is a Bantam, and Bantams are small chickens. Now with the craze in chickens today, there are a lot of breeds that have been miniaturized. You select the smallest and then the smallest and then the smallest, and you get a miniature version. These are what are called true Bantams because they don't have a large counterpart. They were not miniaturized. And we see Bantams on inventories. We also see letters where people write about raising Bantams, particularly young women. It's a good way for them to learn about the poultry yard, because this is a woman's responsibility in the 18th century, taking care of poultry, and so a good way to start is with Bantams. They're kind of a fun little thing, and we have them here at Mr. Witt's house because he's very wealthy. And so he doesn't have to have chickens for eggs or meat production. He can have them for fun. The main reason this breed was kept around was because the females get very broody, and they do a very good job of sitting on the eggs of game birds, pheasants and quail primarily, so that if you want to go shooting with your friends, you need to raise the birds to shoot. And so these birds will sit on those eggs. And this summer we actually had a lady call us and say, I have quail and I have fertile eggs. And I said, oh, bring them to me and we'll put them under a Nankin hen. And she hatched them out. So it was neat to see them do what they had originally been selected to do. These are an old English breed of sheep called Leicester Longwools. The Leicester Longwool is a breed of sheep that was developed in the 18th century, same time period that we talk about here in Williamsburg, by a man named Robert Bakewell. Robert Bakewell was pretty much a contemporary of George Washington, being born in the first quarter of the 18th century and dying. Robert Bakewell died in 1795. George Washington died in 1799. He wanted white sheep that matured in 2 to 3 years, that were medium size and didn't have horns. And anything that didn't fit in that box to him was not a Leicester, even if it had lived in Leicestershire for 100 generations. So he's the first person to write a breed description. And any of the animals in his flock who didn't fit the breed description he wrote, he ate. And he had them breed and breed, and again, anything that was born that didn't conform to his breed standard, he ate. And after a while, he got animals that bred true time and time and time again. And that was a whole new way to look at livestock. The cattle here are milking Devens. Now today, this breed of cattle is called American milking Devens because the milking strain is gone from its home country of England. And so now this is an American breed, and it's up to us as Americans to keep this breed going. So this is our group of adult cows, adult females. We have 7 adult females in here, ranging from age from about probably 6 to 16. And we have 2 fairly elderly girls in here who are both in very good shape, and one of them standing right there chewing her cud with her eyes shut, looking very, very happy and pleased with herself. So this is one of the breeds that we do actively breed here at Colonial Williamsburg. We have a bull, and all these girls are pregnant and are due to calve for us this spring. And this breed of cattle is a great representation for the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th century, because these are cattle that are triple purpose animals. You don't select one thing at the expense of others. So they're fairly good milk cows. They make enough milk to keep a family happy. They are heavy enough that you can eat them as beef animals, and they're smart enough that you can use them as work animals. So milk, meat, and work are the 3 reasons that people keep cattle. Now, there are certainly lots of byproducts, and when I ask that question of visitors, they always come up with lots of byproducts. The work aspect is very hard for modern visitors to think about, so they always come up with milk and meat, and then they say leather, manure, horns, and all of those things are important, but work is the 3rd main reason you raise them. So you use virtually everything from the cattle.